All right, y'all. We are back. The Whip Show right here on 106.1 FM, WAKT Toledo's community radio station. And you guys already know TNA Lockdown is coming up Sunday, August 23rd at the Credit Union One Arena in downtown Chicago. And I got one of the stars of TNA on the show right now. You already know how this man goes. It's all about money with this boy. Introducing AJ Francis. What's going on, Doc?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. And I'd like to say there's not many better places than Summertime Shy. I tell you that much.
Factuals, man. So you ready for down there, man? It's gonna be a lot going on, man. You ready?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've spent a lot of time in Chicago, and I'm very much excited for this cage match with Elijah because we've had a feud for the past few months that's been building, and it's real old school wrestling stuff to have a feud for a few months and end it all in a cage. We're gonna have the final encore. We're gonna put on a show. It's gonna be great. So I'm excited for that.
That's what's up, man. And we definitely want to get into that. But I want to say I just got an email. There's some breaking news from TNA. I feel like I need to drop real quick. TNA just announced a partnership with Revolt Sports to bring explosion matches and classic content. Now, if anybody knows about Revolt in the hip hop culture, which you all about,
Mm-hmm.
AJ Francis, they real
100%.
big. So, how do you feel about that partnership coming to fruition?
Oh, I love it because if they were partnering with Revolt, that means Revolt gonna want to work with me, just like Dude Wipes want to work with me, just like A Game want to work with me, just like all these other brands that get brought into TNA want to work with me. They want to work for TNAJ Francis because I am the brand, right? Like I've all the best top stars that have come into this brand had their growth help through AJ Francis. Let's talk about Joe Hendry. Let's talk about Mike Santana. Let's talk about the fact when Williams came over here, who they put him with, right? So like they know who really runs this show over here. They know who elevates all the talent over here. And the thing is, if people liked me, they would talk about me like they talk about Ali. But they don't like me. They like Ali because Ali ain't the only person that's been pitching people to TNA. I tried to get Zilla Fatu to come to TNA. I tried to get Zeta Steel to come to TNA. I mean, I didn't even know when Mila Grace was signed to TNA that she was already signed to TNA. I pitched her to TNA. I do a lot of stuff trying to bring talent to TNA. Who was the person that made BDE a product that you want to see in TNA from what he did before he signed? Who was the person that was wrestling with him to show that he could actually wrestle? Who was the person they put him with when he got here to get him the job, right? Like I've been that person. Who's the person that elevated Rich Swann? Rich Swann said, I saved his career. He said that himself. Who's the person that elevated Casey Navarro? Right? So like, let's just be honest. You ask KC why you think Joe Hendry took me out to dinner so many times, right? These people know what I'm actually doing. But if people liked me, they would point that out. They don't point that out. They just say, oh, Ali's does all this. He's so great for the brand. And Ali's great for the brand. I love Ali. But the fact is, people like Ali. So they point out the things that Ali does. Ali got some great matches this year. So do I. Nick Nemeth, both Rich Swans, Casey Navarro Street Fight, Elijah at Slammiversary. I got bangers this year too. But the difference is they like Ali. So they talk about Ali. They don't like me. So they pretend I'm not doing it. That's just the way it is.
Woo. That boy coming in fired up already, and I love it, man. But since you bringing up names that you helped grow and create, how my boy Expression doing, dog?
Hey man, he finally got out the hospital. Thankfully, he finally, that UK healthcare system's so expensive, and we was able to get some of that money to him. Help him out on his time down. And I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I'm hoping that I get to see him soon. That injury, you never know how long it could take. When he came out, he was in a sling, he had a neck brace on. He might be in a wheelchair next time I see him, for all I know. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure that we take care of that boy because he's a once in a generation talent. I mean, let's talk about it. Expressions does my entrance at Slammiversary, and it's the most watched video from Slammiversary. My entrance, 3 million views, right? I mean, these are just factual statements. And like I said, if people liked me, they would point it out. But people don't like me, so they ignore it. Because I promise you, if Ricky Sosa had an entrance that was 3 million views, we'd hear about it every single day. If Ali had an entrance that was 3 million views, we'd hear about it every single day. But we don't even talk about it when it's AJ Francis. You see what I'm saying?
So you basically saying, what did Hove tell us a long time ago? Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't.
Numbers don't. Numbers
That's
don't. The numbers are facts. How many times I've been on the Pat McAfee show or the Kay Adams show or the Scott Van Pelt show or Big Noon Kickoff or hosting a bowl game on ESPN. Ain't nobody else doing that, but we don't talk about it because it's AJ Francis. We ignore it because it's AJ Francis. If it was somebody else doing it, we would always talk about it, but it's always been that way. Remember this? I want you to think back to my time in WWE, okay? Do you remember the first time LA Knight became a babyface, right? It was against Hit Row in Madison Square Garden. And it wasn't even on the show. It was on the Dark show, and they used the clip on YouTube. And they got like 3 million views or something like that in 24 hours, and it was crazy. And everybody said LA Knight gets 3 million views on YouTube for this spot in the Garden. But the first 15 seconds of that video is AJ Francis talking.
Ooh.
But we just ignore it. We ignore it because it's AJ Francis. That's just how it's always been in this business.
Okay. Well, he talking facts right now. But speaking of facts, and before we get the lockdown, this week on TNA Impact, dog, you're teaming up with the Nimitz and Frankie Kazarian against the Avengers. I mean, I'm talking about the Hardys, Moose, and Elijah. First of all, you coexisting with the Nimitz, man, after everything that's been going on?
Yeah, sometimes the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I don't like Moose, and I damn sure don't like the Hardys because they always beat me, right? I done faced the Hardys, I think 10 times. I got one win. Okay. So I don't like them at all. I never liked Moose because Moose couldn't block me when he was an offensive lineman anyway. Right. And that was he pretended he could block me. I'll run through Moose chin. All right. And then obviously, I don't like Elijah. I haven't liked Elijah for a very long time. So, somehow me and Frankie Kazarian always end up in these tag matches. And at this point, I'm used to working with him. I'm used to working with him. Me and Frankie can do a lot of cool things, right? I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, even though he's a little guy. I could probably throw him pretty far. I still don't trust him that much. Ryan Nemeth is a non-factor. I'm not worried about him at all. Nick Nemeth can only beat me if he has a 65-year-old geriatric man like Bernie Kosar hitting me with a steel chair. So I'm not worried about him at all either, right? I know that as long as I'm there, we're going to be all right. Okay, we're going to handle business. I'm going to make sure that we do because I'm the best big man in the business.
Talk that talk. Well, speaking of Elijah, you brought him up earlier. You just talked about him again. Let's be honest, man. He done had you tripping. You was in the studio doing your thing on the mic, and then your vibe was just off. You saw him what was going on in your head?
I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? For a long time, I done called that man, Guitar Undertaker. That man is spooky. He be popping up in graveyards. He be haunting people. He had the casket match that looked like a guitar. He do the tombstone. He done tombstone the hell out of me. He walks the ropes and then does everything. Like, he Guitar Undertaker, man. And somehow, in the middle of my studio session, he kind of like just haunted my mind for a second, had me bugging. He had me tripping. I ain't gonna lie. I can't see it. You saw it. I can't lie against what happened. He had me bugging. He had me tripping. But the difference is he was in my mind inside that studio. He ain't gonna be able to get in my mind inside that cage. In that cage, he gonna be locked in there with a 6'5", 300-pound silverback gorilla. And he gonna have to handle me from the shoulders up.
See, I was just about to bring that up, but you just touched on it. You're ready for this man because lockdown, if you guys don't know what TNA lockdown is, it's when all the matches are put inside that steel cage that we know historically what happens in pro wrestling in them steel cages. I mean, that's man versus man, bro. AJ, talk about that.
Man, the cage match is where you really test your will. You see what you're really made of because everything is bigger. Everybody goes up to the top rope more because they have a whole thing to hold on to. All the moves are bigger. Using the cage as a weapon. It's a weapon. It's not just holding you in, it's a weapon, right? And then, all the iconic moments of people jumping off the cage, if I had more people in my match, I'd probably be jumping off the cage. But no, no, I don't know if I'm doing nothing off the cage with just me and Elijah in there. I don't know about that. I don't know.
I feel you.
But
I feel you.
I'm gonna do something though. I'm gonna do something to steal the show. You know me. That's what I'm gonna do. But it's gonna be. The thing I like most about it is me and Elijah's feud is old school wrestling. And what I mean by that is it's a feud that built and built and built and built for months and finished inside of a steel cage. That's old school wrestling. And that's how it's supposed to be.
For sure, for sure. Once again, guys, TNA Lockdown, Sunday, August 23rd. Make sure you check it out. It is in downtown Chicago. If you're in Chicago, go. Get your tickets, be there. If not, you know what to do. Check it out, the new TNA Plus VIP membership. Check it out. But I want to talk about something with you personally, man. I've been looking at you on that screen. Now, I'm a big fella myself, too, but you've been slimming up. You're toning up, baby. Is that by design?
Yeah, for sure. I spent most of my life 300 plus pounds. Right now, I'm like 295. But like I spent most of my life over 300 pounds, mainly out of necessity at first, just playing football. And then, once I got to wrestling, being 300 pounds is a blessing, right? But like the thing that I had this discussion with myself last year is that like nobody can talk better than me on the entire TNA roster, really in the world. And if anybody got a problem with that, say some slick shit, and I'll have a diss song for your goofy ass 24 hours later, right? You can't talk bad about what I put on in the ring because I have like 5 match of the year contenders already this year, right? And we're just in August, right? And I'm gonna have another one at the end of this weekend, right? So you can't talk about what I do in the ring. You can't talk about my pedigree. I'm a former NFL player, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a real, true, divine athlete, with the blessings from above. You can't talk about my size because I'm the biggest person on the roster. The only thing you can talk about is that I'm chubby. That's it. That's all you got. So, all right. You want to see me leaned up? You want to see me bricked up and see me all lined, ready to go? Okay, you're going to see it. Now I'm in the best shape of my life, and I will rip your throat out. And that's not just in the ring, that's on the mic. So I'm ready for my world championship opportunities. For years, I've been elevating other people to the world title. It's time to elevate my damn self to the world title.
For sure, for sure. And see, I love what you just said there. I didn't even pause you when you said bricked up. I'm joking, my guy. I'm joking. But what I want to finish off.
The ladies do love to see me bricked up now. We being real.
Uh-oh. But I want to finish off right here. Man, TNA has been having great rating success also on AMC Plus. And make sure you check it out on AMC Plus. They also are on Sportsnet 360 in Canada, man. And you recently resigned not too long ago. Tell the truth. What made you say there's a million promotions out there, but I want to stay at my home, TNA? And what do you say also about the success of TNA?
Well, first of all, I am directly responsible for the success of TNA because I think if you look at the numbers, 9 of the 10 most watched episodes of TNA have AJ Francis as part of the build for the week. We're going to get AJ Francis match, or we're going to get AJ Francis promo. I think it's 9 of the 10. And I'm on all 10 episodes, but I was promoted for 9 of the 10 of the most watched episodes we've had so far. That's just a statistical fact. Matt Hardy came on the podcast and said the 3 biggest ratings draws for TNA off the data that he looked at was the Hardys, AJ Francis, and Moose. That's what Matt Hardy said, okay? So this isn't just me saying it. These are just the facts that are at hand. I think that I'm a very integral part of the success of TNA. That being said, the reason why I wanted to come back to TNA is because that's a role that I deserve to be in, right? In TNA, I know where I stand. I know that my word matters in TNA. I know my ideas matter at TNA. I've done so many great things here at TNA that were just my idea that I thought of, right? Even going back to like Joe Hendry getting twerked on by Alex. That was a viral clip that was going around the world, right? Nobody was twerking on TV. Nobody was doing that. Nobody had no girls twerking on TV. And then 3 weeks later, Sexy Red was on NXT. You see what I'm saying? I know what I'm doing, right? I know what I'm doing. And here at TNA, I get the full creative. I want not creative control, but creative input, right? When they have a creative meeting about what I'm doing, they let me come to the meeting and give ideas, right? Like they let me have a big hand in everything that I'm doing. Expressions, being a part of me is just me bringing expressions. I wasn't like, hey guys, you think I had this idea? It was just like, yo, I got my homeboy. He's famous as hell in the UK. I'm gonna have him come to the show and at Slammiversary, and you're gonna see what he can do. And then he comes out, gets 3 million views on my entrance, and now it's, whoa, okay, AJ, what else you want to do with him? Blah 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 blah. Because they trust me. I was in WWE. I didn't get that same trust. You know what I'm saying? I was in. I've been other places, and I didn't get that same trust in me. Right? TNA trusts me. They know that I'm TNA Jay Francis, and I'd rather be here than anywhere else in the world. And I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been presented. And also, to be honest with you, Carlos Silva is the reason I'm here. Carlos Silva is the best boss that I've ever had. Carlos Silva listens to what I have to say. He doesn't think that he knows everything. He listens to what the people around him are saying because he understands that he just came into this wrestling business and he's learning it as he's doing it, but he's taking advice from people that know what they're doing, from me, from Ali, from Matt Hardy, from Moose, from the system. These guys that have been here a long time and know what they're doing. Carlos Silva is smart enough to listen to everybody and decipher what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. And he's the best boss I've ever had.
You guys heard that, man. TNA Jay Francis. Make sure you check him out once again. TNA Lockdown this Sunday, August 23rd at the Credit Union One. Go get your tickets. Be in Chicago. If you cannot be in Chicago, you know what to do. Tune into the PLE. Watch the man do what he does. He already told you. It's him and Elijah in TNA Lockdown. And don't forget to check him out on TNA Impact each and every Thursday. AJ, thank you for your time, my guy. Do what you do. Handle your business and keep putting up them dope numbers like LeBron. I feel you, my guy.
See me.
Have a good one, brother. Take care.